עושה שלום, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. עושה שלום, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, שים שלום עלינו. We welcome you tonight to be here with us. I invite you to take a breath. Take a breath and be here with us. Put everything else away for now. Take a breath. Ose shalom, maker of peace. Ose shalom aleinu, make peace for us. Ose shalom, maker of peace. Ose shalom aleinu, make peace for us. They'll call Israel and Israel. They'll call Yoshvei Tevel, and for the world, Sim Shalom Aleinu. Grant us peace. You know, we can change the world. I really do believe that. But it's really more doable together. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה, אז יבואו כבר כולם. אמרו את זה קודם לפניי, לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה ננסה את התחלה. יהיה לנו רע, אין דבר זה לא נורא. אמרו את זה קודם לפניי, לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אמרו את זה קודם לפניי, לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם.
We join together on the third page of our PDF. Lord, open our eyes. Lord, open our eyes that we may see you in our brothers and sisters. Lord, open our ears that we may hear the cries of the hungry, the cold, the frightened, the oppressed. Lord, open our hearts that we may love each other as you love us. Renew in us your spirit, Lord. Free us and make us.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name. And we will know that you are one. Yes, we will know that you are one.
We welcome you to our Shabbat service. I'm Rabbi Javier Kadafan, and I'm joined by Leslie Zucker and our technical team. We're doing this slightly different today. We are each of us at home. The conditions outside are deteriorating as we speak, and so we are really trying to stay safe and come together on Shabbat. And like to thank everybody who joined us earlier for our Erev Shabbat dinner on Zoom. If you are joining us on Facebook Live, you can find links to the prayer pages and other information in the comments section. If you're watching us on the virtual sanctuary, the link to the PDF is right above the player, and all other links were emailed to you in our e-news. We thank especially our digital docents who are managing our streaming today. If you're watching us on Facebook Live, please say hi by typing Shabbat Shalom in the comments line, and don't forget to click return, enter. If you have any immediate technological needs and need some help, we invite you to text our technical assistance line, TAL, at 913-303-1134, and one of our docents will call you as soon as they can. We are coming together on this special Shabbat, the Shabbat leading up to Martin Luther King Jr.'s day, which will be on Monday. Martin Luther King Jr. followed his faith through a course of public, nonviolent civil protests against the forces of racial discrimination in the United States. His life and work, which ended in his martyrdom, have been a radical witness for subsequent generations who continue to labor for human and civil rights, for equal protection under the law, and for liberty, justice, and freedom on behalf of every human being who still suffers discrimination and injustice. It's a very special time in our nation, a very special Shabbat that we are blessed to come together and celebrate. If you have candles at home, we invite you to light the candles, bring light into the world on page 120.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadliknei shel Shabbat.
Because of Zoom today, it does not allow us to sing together, Leslie and I. So When there is a song, you will see my mouth moving because I'm singing where I am, and I hope you are at home too. But I'm going to be muted so that we can follow Leslie's lead. But please, I'm doing what you're doing at home, singing along with Leslie on this Shabbat.
We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching. We are marching. We are marching in the light of God. That repeats. We are marching. You got it. We are marching. We are marching in the light of God. We are singing. We are singing in the light of God. 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 Oh, we are singing. Oh, we are singing. We are singing in the light of God. We are singing. Oh, we are singing. Oh, we are singing in the light of God. We are working for peace in the light of God. We are working in the light of God. We are working for peace in the light of God. We are working in the light of God. Oh, we are working for peace. We are working for peace. We are working in the light of God. Oh, we are working for peace. We are working for peace. We are working in the light of God.
We continue together on the next page in our prayer package, Lead Me to Peace by Satish Kumar. Lead me from death to life, from falsehood to truth. Lead me from despair to hope, from fear to trust. Lead me from hate to love, from war to peace. Let peace fill our hearts, our world, our universe. Peace, peace, peace. We welcome this Shabbat of peace, this Shabbat Shalom. We continue together with Lecha Dodi, pages 138 and 139, and we will be singing together the first and the last stanza, 1 and 9.
והקדותי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
We continue on page 152 at the top, an added reading for this special Shabbat of peace and Shabbat of justice, Shabbat Tzedek. For Judaism gave mankind its first civil rights program. It was expressed in the Shema, the watchword of the Jewish faith. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. As God is one, mankind is one, for each is created equally in the image of God.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בהם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו עשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
The story of the Exodus has been a story that has inspired many, many people to seek liberation, not only our ancestors in Egypt, but all over the world. We join together in a beautiful reading by Lila Watson, If You Came to Help Me. It's on the next page. If you have come to help me, you're wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together.
מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, כי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי ואנו ואהבו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
As we gather together, each one of us from our homes, we offer a prayer for peace and shelter. We are so blessed that we have a shelter above us from this winter weather, and we are warm inside. And we wish that for our souls as well. On the next page, we join together in Let There Be Love. Ashkita.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkibeinu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkibeinu, Leshalom. Hamidenu, Shomrenu, Lechaim. Ufos Alenu, Sukkot Shomecha. Hashkiveinu. Ashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu, Ashkivenu, Shalom, let there be love, let there be love, and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love, let there be love, and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדוב נתם. בעברית עולם, ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת וידע בשבת, שבת וינפש. Shabbat, Shabbat vayinafesh. Shabbat, Shabbat vayinafesh.
This moment in our service, we pause for the standing prayer, the Tfilah, the Amidah. It begins on page 164, and it will continue all the way to page 180. At this moment, we invite you to use the words in our Siddur, our traditional words, and also to offer a meditation or special prayer. We will come back together on this special Shabbat to offer an extended prayer for peace and justice as we come together out of the Amidah. But first, Adonai Sfatai, and then the silent Amidah.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Tehillatech. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Reflections on Violence by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Violence deepens the brutality of the oppressor and increases the bitterness of the oppressed. It destroys community and makes brotherhood impossible. The ultimate weakness of violence is that it is a descendant spiral, begetting the very thing it seeks to destroy. Instead of diminishing evil, it multiplies it. Through violence, you may murder the liar, but you cannot murder the lie, nor establish the truth. Through violence, you may murder the hater, but you do not murder hate. In fact, violence merely increases hate. So,
Olam chesed yibaneh,
returning violence for violence multiplies violence, adding deeper darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. The beauty of nonviolence is that in its own way and in its own time, it seeks to break the chain reaction of evil. The majestic sense of spiritual power, it seeks to elevate truth, beauty, and goodness to the throne.
Olam chesed yibaneh, Olam chesed yibaneh.
Of course, you may say this is not practical. Life is a matter of getting even, of hitting back, of dog eat dog. Maybe in some distant utopia, you say, that idea will work, but not in the hard, cold world in which we live. My own answer is that humankind has followed the so-called practical way for a long time now, and it has led inexorably to deeper confusion and chaos. Time is cluttered with the wreckage of individuals and communities that surrendered to hatred and violence. We must follow another way.
I will build this world from love. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you must build this world from love. Ya-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Sing with us. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love.
It is now time for offering a prayer for those in need of healing. You may have access to the Misheberach list through the e-news that you received this morning. You can also follow the link in the comments. If you like to offer names, please type them in the comments so we can all see them. Go ahead and begin typing.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
And as we think on this Shabbat about those in need of healing, we also think of those who help in healing, first responders and health workers all over the world. May those who care for the sick with their hands, their voices, and their hearts be blessed with courage and stamina. May those who pursue healing through medical skills and knowledge be blessed with insight, patience, and compassion. And may all of us, the sick and the well together, find courage and hope. And let us say, Amen.
Those in need of healing, with the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
It is now time for our moment of gratitude. We call it our Simcha moment, but it's also a moment to say thank you to God for all the blessings that we encountered this past week. If you are so moved to share a special Simcha or blessing from this past week, we invite you to type it in the comments line. It may include, of course, a birthday, anniversary, good news, or accomplishments of all and any kind. Please use just a few words and press enter. And for today, I have a prayer poem written by Walter Brueggemann. And those of us who went to seminary in the 90s were very familiar with his books about biblical criticism and biblical literature. They weren't very entertaining, if I may say. However, he is a very thoughtful thinker, and he especially reads, his style of reading the Torah and the Hebrew Bible is what they call from the margins. So he looks at it not from the center of the world, and we are really in the center of the world in the United States, but from the periphery, from the marginalities. And so this poem today, this prayer, expresses that idea that we sometimes forget how many blessings we do have in our country and in our nation, and actually in the northern hemisphere more than other parts of the world. And his prayer is called "We Are Takers." You are the giver of all good things. All good things are sent from heaven above. Rain and sun, day and night, justice and righteousness, bread to the eater and seed to the sower, peace to the old, energy to the young, joy to the babes. We are takers, who take from you, day by day, daily bread, taking all we need as you supply, taking in gratitude and wonder and joy, and then taking more than we need, taking more than you give us, taking from our sisters and brothers, taking from the poor and the weak, taking because we are frightened and so greedy, taking because we are anxious and so fearful, taking because we are driven and so uncaring. Give us peace beyond our fear, and so end our greed. Give us well-being beyond our anxiety, and so end our fear. Give us abundance beyond our drivenness, and so end our uncaring. And as we now gather all the simchas that we shared on this special Shabbat, all the gratitude that fills our hearts, we offer a prayer. Divine source of blessings, we thank you for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with gratitude as we share in the happiness of all those who marked their birthday, anniversaries, good news, and accomplishments. Adonai, be with them now and always. May they be blessed with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow, and with much health and happiness now and always, as we honor each one of you for the gifts that you bring to our sacred community. We join together in song as we mark this sacred occasion.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the world, who gave us life, who kept us going, who brought us to now. You give us life, you keep us going, you help us get to wow. Blessed are you, blessed are we. Amen.
And on this Shabbat, when we mark and remember and honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., we add to all the blessings another blessing, which is to welcome back to our Bima, although a virtual Bima today, Rabbi Eric Williams, who is the pastor of Calvary Temple Baptist Church, which we count as a sister congregation. And Reverend Williams has been at his church for over 30 years. He probably started when he was in, I don't know, elementary school, I would say. But it's wonderful to have Reverend Williams, who is not only a pastor of his church, he's also a leader in the Kansas City, Missouri community, the African American community, and the community in general, a civic leader. And we're so delighted to have him. I can almost call him my friend. We've been trying to work together to breach some gaps in our city for the last 3 years or so. And of course, I have not seen him for over a year in person. I just seen him on screen. So we are delighted to welcome you back to Beth Torah, Reverend Williams. Welcome.
Reverend Williams, we cannot hear you. I'm so sorry. I mean, it looks like what you're saying is incredible and amazing, but we cannot hear you. And folks at home, we could hear him earlier. We were all set up, and it was perfect. So we're just gonna. Nope. Technology is awesome. Nope. Well, something's picking you up because the yellow box is going around you. I'm just narrating for the folks at home. Oh, my goodness gracious. Bear with us with the handsome Reverend, looking like he's talking but not making any noise. Bear with us with the handsome Reverend who's gonna get off and jump back on. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, oh Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, we're so happy you're here with us tonight. I hope you all are feeling good tonight. I hope you're all getting some respite. I know that it's pronounced respite, but you know that didn't really rhyme. Oh, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. We're so happy that you're here with us tonight. We're so honored to have with us Reverend Williams from Calvary. Whose silly idea was it to try to rhyme something with Calvary? That's me. Shabbat Shalom. Are you back with us?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think everyone is incredibly grateful that you have returned.
Well, you're a natural, and I sure appreciate you. I sure appreciate you. You just made up a song right on the spot.
Well, let me start. We have a special guest this evening.
Well, let me say thanks again to my friend Rabbi Javier and to this songstress Sister Leslie. God bless you, and to Dave who is committed to make me look and sound good, and I'm going to be forever in debt to Dave, to the Beth Torah congregation. I just want to thank you all for being who you are. That the fact that you would you want to be with us and to help, especially in times of COVID, it's just super, just absolutely wonderful. And when my seniors, because you guys delivered some things to some of our seniors and people that were struggling with food insecurity, when I heard the news that you all had brought in black-eyed peas and collard greens, I said, well, no, this is supposed to be this was the Jewish folks. They weren't supposed to bring black-eyed peas, but you guys really did a grand. They loved it. We love you. We love the fact that you're with us. I've got to say hello to our dear friend Sandy G. She's our angel, and she's your member. She's just the sweetest she can be. Has helped in so many ways. When Rabbi gave me my assignment, he gave me Exodus 6th chapter through the 9th chapter, and then some prophetic text as well, which helps me to narrow down somewhat. You can go anywhere with that. He told me don't be restricted, but you've only got a few minutes, and so it's hard to wrap all that up in just a few minutes. The other thing that he said that he wanted me to do is is to recognize Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy and talk about what that legacy means to me as an older Black guy. What does that mean to me? And then what should we be doing because of that? And how can we play a stronger role together as congregations, sisters, friends? What kind of allies can we truly be? So I'll start it this way. When I look at the text, especially that Exodus text, for me, it signals God's progressive revelation of himself. He loves us so much till gently he reveals himself, almost like the layers of an onion. He keeps showing us different facets about who he is, and incrementally he helps us to see him for who he really is. Of course, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob had a vision of him, but I think you and I and others have been able to capture more of the strands of the onion because he keeps on showing us. He hasn't restricted himself to then, but he is also the God of now. So the revelation is progressive. He is the I am. He is the one who is. He is the one who can. And progressively, he's shown people, those that he loves, the fact that he can be what you need him to be. The other thing that just captures me and if you can't get excited about this is the fact that he is a God that hears. And I don't want to just leave it there because I think most people hear. They can hear, but this God, he inclines his ear to us and hears us and then responds. He shows us his strength. He shows us his power. He shows us that he cares. Exodus is wow. Because this time he heard the cries of his people. He heard their misery. He heard their toil. He heard their oppression. And some people might arguably say that it took him quite a while to respond, but when he did, wow, he responds. And he does that to give us a greater awareness of who he is. Because once you get to know him, you're changed forever. The fact that after all those years that God would raise up a deliverer like Moses and endow power and authority to him and make him the guardian of the plagues. And that's significant for me. He rose up a deliverer. And that's the sense of awe that I feel whenever I hear this text or read it. And that's a comparison that is used frequently to what he did with Martin Luther King Jr. That God, in his ultimate wisdom, rose up a deliverer. And with his mighty hand, confronted the powers that be. With his mighty hand, changed the way things looked for those people that he loved. But I think sometimes what we forget is that he wasn't by himself. It wasn't just a Moses show, because Aaron was there. There were people that were with them. There were people that were involved, and I guess what I have to say is that it just wasn't a Martin Luther King show. That others were with him. Others made certain that the task at hand would be completed. I marvel when I look at the pictures of that time and see Roman Catholic priests and rabbis and whites and just everybody, and somewhat miffed that there wasn't more Black representation for a fight that was theirs, ours. And I'm old enough to remember that, and don't tell anybody, this is a secret, but all Black people weren't in favor of Dr. King and what he was trying to do. Some considered it as meddling, and that Martin Luther King Jr. just making things worse. And I'm old enough to remember the day he was killed. And I was just 10. I was just 10. And but I remember that Thursday evening, and then we went to school the next day, and for fear, they dismissed school. For fear? Well, long story. I'm a product of busing. And although I grew up at 39th in College and was scheduled to attend the Sanford B. Ladd School, I was bused to a school that was located on 69th and Holmes, I believe. It was called the J.C. Nichols School. Matter of fact, there were 3 busloads of Black kids that were bused to the all-white school. And I was 4th grade, and I said, wait, that's kind of cool. I really didn't know much about white people. I didn't know that, I didn't know that they were, the only difference that I really realized was that the hair was different. And I even bought some of that Brill cream, trying to make my hair do what you all, okay, that's bad joke, okay. It was different. I was in the lead bus, and I was one of the first kids that got off the bus. And I, smiling, get out with carrying my lunch bag, and there was a welcoming party to greet us. I was like, yay, this is gonna be cool, this is cool. But what I shortly found out is that it wasn't a welcoming party. It was a mob that didn't want us there. The kid stole my lunch, and I chased him, and the rest of the bus chased them. And we met at the top of the hill while he was feeding my lunch to a dog. I wasn't graceful. We fought. As a result of that, I got sent to the psychologist, and they said, he's inciting a riot. No, I'm just trying to get my lunch. I had to learn how to survive, how to understand, how to get along, how to resolve differences with folks that really didn't seem to like me. And it was a good lesson. It was a good lesson. I learned that I wasn't hated by everyone, and that I could still make friends among people. It was a turbulent time, but I think it helped us to understand that there are many things in life that aren't fair, but we still have to tackle it and move through it. What does that have to do with King? Everything. It's defeating the mindset of oppression. It's putting people on the same playing field. It's learning how to get along with everyone. tell you something else that was going on back then. My older brother and sister, they suffered with a disease called sickle cell anemia. And unfortunately, we didn't know much about it then. And they suffered royally. They suffered. And since we were Black, we really didn't have the access to health care that everybody else had. I think the hospital was General Hospital number 2, because white people didn't want us in the hospital with them. There's no other way to say that. I'm sorry if there's just no other way to say it. But something that I learned was that during that same time, my mom did what you call day work. Day work is because she couldn't get jobs anywhere else. She had to go and clean house for someone else, another family. They called it day work. And a lot of times they slip Blacks in the side door and then make them clean up and da. Mom happened to do day work for a family called the Stearns. The Stearns. When the Stearns found out how we were being treated, they said, well, Helen, my mom's name, why don't you go to my doctor? Mom says, they're not going to let me go to your doctor because your doctor's on the plaza. Your doctor's this. Helen, go to my doctor. My brother and sisters received fine care because one little Jewish lady said, they deserve it. They need our help. And I can use my resources to make sure they get what they need. What does that got to do with King? Everything. Because it's helping all of us understand that we're not by ourselves. We're not alone. And that we can use our resources to bless other people's lives. How can we be allies? Rabbi, help folks understand the necessity and the reality that they can be types of Moses. They can become deliverers. Martin Luther King is not the last deliverer, but that we can use resources, our skills, and our influence to bless the lives of others. Sometimes I get on these rants and I just want to just talk, but I know that you've got other things to do. I'm grateful for this time. And I've got story after story after story, but please hear my heart and help Rabbi and me make real changes in the way that Kansas City does business. God bless you. And thank you for being my friend. And hopefully we'll see you soon, face to face.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe, despite everything, we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we'll walk hand in hand someday. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace. We shall live in peace someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we, all of us, shall live in peace someday.
Thank you so much, Eric, Reverend Williams, for being with us on this special Shabbat, for sharing your personal stories, and for really open up your heart and your soul to us all on this day when we come together and honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King and the many who came before him and after him, who work for peace and for righteousness in our world. And thanks, Leslie, for that beautiful rendition of We Shall Overcome. Our service continues now as we prepare for our moment of remembrance. I invite you to turn to the next page in our prayer package. Strange is our situation here upon earth. Each of us comes for a short visit, not knowing why, yet sometimes seeming to devise a purpose. From the standpoint of daily life, however, there is one thing we know, that men and women are here for the sake of other men and women. Above all, for those upon whose smile and well-being our own happiness depends, and also for the countless unknown souls with whose fate we are connected by a bond of sympathy. Many times a day I realize how much my own outer and inner life is built upon the labors of my fellow man, both living and dead, and how earnestly I must exert myself in order to give in return as much as I have received. On this Shabbat, as we honor the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King, we join our spirits and our souls as we remember our own loved ones. We are observing the Shloshim period for Amy Kirstein, mother and mother-in-law of Andrew and Emily Kirstein, and grandmother of Jonathan, Samuel, and Beatrice Kirstein. If you're joining us on this Shabbat and are remembering a loved one, we invite you to type their names in the comments and press enter. On this Shabbat, as a congregation, we remember the following yahrzeits: Jose Adler, Nathan Applebaum, Bela K. Balo, George Bellotti, Henny Berg, Riva Bogomolnaya, David Finkelstein, Jean Flamm, Nathan Haith, Ida R. Javen, Charlotte Kappel, Noam Kalemsky, A.B. Conants, Sally Nassau-Lerman, Myron Levine, Sophia Barrage Matzdorf, Robert Miko, Betty Jean Moses, Barbara Meyer, Mel Hitler, Rowena Robino, Sarah Rocklin, Edith Rubin, Isaac Brudnick, Maurice Weber, Norman Weiner, Wyman Wickelsham, Jay Willer. Zichronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. Together on page 598, we join in the words of Kaddish Yaton, the mourner's Kaddish. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
עושה שלום, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, שים שלום עלינו.
It is now time for some announcements.
Woohoo!
We would like to thank everyone who has joined us from our area and from around the world. Special thanks to Leslie for the beautiful music, our digital docents for all their hard work and dedication, and a special thanks to Reverend Williams for joining us on this Shabbat and sharing his spirit and his wisdom and his life with all of us. Tomorrow at 9 a.m., we will have our Sichat Shabbat on Zoom, and the link is in the e-news that you received this morning. And our next Shabbat morning service is tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. on Facebook Live in our virtual sanctuary. And of course, as I think we mentioned earlier today, Reverend Williams is the pastor of a church that we consider our sister congregation. And the words of William Arthur Ward come to mind, who said, "A warm smile is the universal language of kindness." So here's how we're going to help our friends and neighbors at Calvary Temple Baptist Church. We're going to be collecting 500 toothbrushes and 500 toothpastes. There you go. Oh, wait a minute. Where'd it go? There it is. There it goes. There you go. Toothbrushes and toothpaste to spread this universal language of kindness and smile to our neighbors at Calvary Temple. We are looking forward to spreading this universal language of kindness. We will have a contactless drop-off at Beth Torah on Sunday, January 31st from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. To the parking lot. What?
11 to 1, not 11 to 10, folks. We are not going to be there that long.
Oh, I'm sorry. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's going to be a long day.
It's going to be a long day.
And of course, the weather will cooperate. I'm sure it will. We also invite you to save, but that is January 31st. You have some time to go out and start placing your orders or collecting every time you go to the grocery store, toothbrushes and toothpaste. Save the date again for Shabbat Shirah. It's a Shabbat of song on Friday, January 29th at 6:30 p.m. Being the Shabbat following Tuv Shabbat, the Jewish New Year for the trees. This musical service will also include the culmination of our high Hopes campaign, or should I say High Hopes campaign. And after the service, please join us for a High Hope celebration on Zoom. We will share a L'chaim, Chaim, and Chai, and share stories about the newest leaves on our Etz Chaim. All B'Torah members and friends are, of course, welcome.
And that's not all. The Kahila concert has been rescheduled. For those of you who were disappointed, we've got it figured out. It's going to be on Monday, February 15th. So you'll get more details to that closer to time. And the next midweek song session is this coming Wednesday, January 20th. And I'm going to be doing an evening of mostly Debbie Friedman music in honor of her yahrzeit. So if you have a favorite Debbie Friedman song, stick it in the comments in the event or email me and I will see if I can do them. Oh, and if you're not getting the e-news, which has all of this information and more, let us know and we can get you on that list.
Thank you so much. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And during these difficult times in our nation, we now conclude our service with a prayer for our country on the next page of our prayer packet. God bless you, America, the shelter that our ancestors sought when their children were threatened by state-sponsored persecution. God bless you, America, the beloved home of those who have belonged to this land for unknowable amounts of time, the country of endless migration, waves, and very short memories. America, the beautiful, the painful, the powerful. You have never been everything that we wished you would be. But your shortcomings will not keep us from trying to make you more just, more kind, and more true. On this Shabbat, we pray that you will be blessed with leaders who will strive to serve your people, with voters who will use their power to make your future brighter, with activists who will continue to pursue your ideals, with citizens whose hearts will be big enough to care for all people from sea to shining sea. God bless you, America, and may you bless all those in your embrace.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing for our lives. We're all in this together. We are all in this together, and we are singing for our lives. We are all in this together, and we are singing for our lives. We are gentle and loving. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing for our lives. We are a gentle, loving people, and we are singing and praying and hoping, singing for our lives.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Stay
Take care of
safe
each
out
other
there.
out there.